Right, I thought to myself, let's do this live this evening. Let's have a little bit of a change and have a little bit of a laugh, and overall, just a difference on the channel. Welcome back to the preview show for the first time in over God knows how long now. I've went into a preview show talking about Celtic being top of the table. It honestly feels absolutely sensational. It's a welcomed change, and it feels like normality has sort of restored itself again after, you know, the last couple of years where Celtic, you know, have obviously struggled, and COVID football hit, and, you know, we were obviously behind the entirety of that season. It's been a fight back for all of this season thus far, but right now Celtic are in a fantastic place, a very positive place, and overall, I think that all of us as Celtic fans can agree at the minute. We're all just buzzing, we're all just so happy, and we're looking forward to every single game now, whereas last season, you remember, if I sat down for every preview show, video or live stream or whatever I'd done, and I'd sit there, I'd think to myself, I can't even be bothered, and you didn't know what to talk about. It was just constant negativity, it was constant, you know, let's get Neil Lennon out the door chat, and to come on to this stream today, and this video today, and talk about Celtic being top of the league as we head to Fir Park tomorrow. It's just an absolutely gorgeous feeling, and I'm glad that it's back, and hopefully it's here to stay. I can see a lot of yous in the chat right now. I'll try and get you involved as the show goes on. It's just a bit of a change for a Saturday evening, doing something live. I understand a lot of folk will be probably already heading out for their Saturday night plans, but you know what, it's going to be something anyway on this channel, and if you're here, then enjoy yourself. So shout out to everybody in the chat right now, and I'll bring you into it as we go along. If you haven't already, please make sure to hit like and subscribe, and that is much appreciated. Jack asking, you know, watching the rugby, Ryan? Absolutely not. I'm not a fan of the rugby, not at all. I don't care if it's Scotland, England. I could not care. I don't care what the result is. I don't care what the aftermath is. I literally do not give a toss about the rugby. So, no, I am not watching it, and I'll probably not even check what the score is. Yeah, we've got a few things to talk about, and I want to start with some of the exciting stuff before we get into they're going live with Cal McGregor at 5 PM while I'm actually competing with Celtic. Nice. I've timed that well, haven't I? Let's try and talk about some things then before 5 o'clock hits, before Celtic do go live with Cal McGregor, if that's the case. I did not know that was happening. And let's talk about some of the more exciting and interesting things that are happening behind the scenes at the club right now before we talk about tomorrow's game. First off, Kris Boyd. We have obviously seen Celtic hit back at Kris Boyd over the past 24 hours after his article in The Rag yesterday. I'm not even going to say its name, The Rag. Kris Boyd got an article published surrounding the Celtic and Rangers game, in which he discussed the fact that no Rangers players got close to Callum McGregor, and no players had any hits at Callum McGregor's face, considering they went into the game with a mask. Now, the comments themselves, unbelievable. I couldn't believe what I was reading, to be quite honest. I don't mean to be too petty about it, but you're talking about a former professional footballer here who has cried at so many different occasions about different things, and he's been raging at Celtic doing, you know, there's just, you know, it has something to greet about all the time. And he's in this paper talking about, as a former professional, how players should have been getting close to McGregor's face. You know what he's basically alluding to when he's in that game carrying an injury. In retaliation, Celtic hit out with a statement last night saying they were going to dive further into the matter, and they were going to basically investigate into the comments made by Kris Boyd in the newspaper. Now Kris Boyd has came back with a statement in retaliation as well, I believe, talking about how it's been taken out of context, it's been misunderstood. I think that he is scrambling for excuses at this point, but Kris Boyd is someone who, you know, has obviously ruffled so many favours with Celtic fans before, but it's not the fact, you know, and there's my camera away, lovely, brilliant. It's not the fact that Kris Boyd, if you can still hear me, the camera should be coming back on, there we go. It's not the fact that Kris Boyd has ruffled favours and such in the past. It's not Celtic fans just hating him. It's the fact that Kris Boyd continuously makes an absolute tit of himself in the media, both in print, television, radio, wherever he is, he makes a complete tit of himself. Not only when talking about Celtic, when talking about football in England, when talking about further football in Scotland. He's someone who is just, I believe, and as someone who kind of aspires to work in the media one day, and hopefully in a changed media. Kris Boyd's terrible at his job. He says things that are utterly baffling, completely nonsensical, and sometimes things that just make absolutely no sense at all. And it's a recurring theme. He says things to try and get a reaction, but while doing so, he gets things completely wrong, he gets things way off the mark, and he leaves himself looking like a twat every single time. That is the reason Celtic Football Club and Celtic fans have so much of an issue with Kris Boyd. Not just because he ruffles feathers and he gets a reaction at Celtic fans, because the things he says make absolutely no sense at times. The things he says are completely outlandish. And for example, his article in the paper yesterday, in that publication, was another fine example of the absolute tripe that he comes out with on a constant basis. Any other former professional footballer would have made comments maybe similar. I mean, people have been saying something about Andy Walker, and he might have said something similar during the game, but Andy Walker's as much a tit as him at times as well. I'm not going to sit and just pick sides because Andy Walker used to play for Celtic, but Boyd says things that you would see many, many, many professionals look at him in the face and go, what on earth are you talking about? Because it's not me just making that up. It's not just me saying that to fit a narrative that is against Kris Boyd. I'm saying that because you see him on Soccer Saturday, you see him on the Scottish football shows on Sky Sports every week, and you see some of the reactions he gets from his own colleagues. You see the looks that he gets off some of his colleagues, and everybody knows that that half the time he's just baffling. He's coming out with baffling opinions. And I feel like it's something that has to be addressed. I'm very happy that Celtic are taking him to town on it. The comments I think were too far. As I said, I personally don't want to be too petty about it, but he's a prick. And you know what? He's been deserving something like this for a long time. So hopefully we'll see his future maybe evaluated at certain outlets. But probably nothing will come of it. But it's Kris Boyd for you. I'm used to hearing outlandish things from him, and some things just never change. Now I know there's going to be plenty of Rangers fans who might watch this stream or might watch it back when it's up as a video and completely disagree with what I'm saying and take everything that I've said and go the complete opposite side of it. And that's natural. Of course, you're going to try and defend the pundit who used to be a former Rangers player and is currently a Rangers fan. However, I do beg you to put yourself in the position where you look at it as a neutral and you look at the comments being made and go, right, he can be a bit of a dick. And it's the same with people. I look at John Hartson sometimes and I say John Hartson's opinions are fucking wank. I love big John Hartson, but sometimes his opinions are just extraordinarily bad. Just like sometimes Kris Boyd's are. But that's been investigated by Celtic. We'll see what comes out of the outcome of it. I don't suspect much will happen. But let's get on to talking about some other things in the Celtic world. Celtic in for the first signing of the summer window, perhaps. There are talks of Zinedine Ferhat. Ferhat, is how you say it? Ferhat, something like that. Zinedine Ferhat from Nîmes in the French League 2. And apparently a pre-contract offer has been made by Celtic. I'm seeing a lot of comments as well. Thank you to everybody who's chipping in over. We'll come and do I'll get comments up on screen as we can. And I'll bring up anything I have to. A lot of the same sort of opinions on Kris Boyd anyway, that I think that I've already displayed as much as I can. So Zinedine Ferhat has been handed a pre-contract offer by Celtic, according to reports in France. 28 years old midfielder who formerly played in Ligue 1 with the French side, now finds himself in League 2, looking for a move away. He's been very, very unhappy at the club, apparently. He's made that clear since their relegation into League 2. Is it League 2? Is that how you say? Is it Undru? I can't remember how you. Numbers aren't my thing. I'm not good with French. It's German for me. Ein, zwei, drei. But since I've been relegated to League 2 in France, he has wanted a move away from the club, and he's now entered the last 6 months of his contract. Celtic are apparently a club who have made an offer there. Now, nothing has been obviously said in terms of reports over here quite of yet. This is all based off the reports coming out of France, and nothing, of course, has been said by the manager in any of the press conferences yet. I imagine it might be something that creeps up in the pre-match press conferences or the post-match press conferences or the conferences through the week or whatever, heading into the next few games. But this is someone who has been linked with the club before. This is someone who I think we spoke about maybe very briefly in a video or a live stream a few months ago that was being linked with Celtic. It isn't the first time his name has came up in regards to a move to Celtic. There has been links and talks of it before, so it is someone that maybe Celtic have been looking at for quite a while, and maybe something that does have a little bit of solid information to and a little bit of a solid chance of happening. I'm going to throw up on screen now. Let's have a look into the player himself and let's have a look about him. I'm going to throw this up on screen if I can quickly go and find it. If I've left it open, I'm hoping I have. There we go. Let's bring this up on screen now. You should be able to see this screen. Zinedine Ferhat, here he is. Nîmes Olympique of League 2 in France, valued currently at £4 million, 28 years of age. He has only made 7 appearances this season. As I said, I think he has had quite a falling out. He's made it clear that he does not want to play the remainder of the season. I think he doesn't want to play in League 2. And he will want to move away from the club as soon as possible. Now, that does beg the question that whoever does go in for him, whoever does land himself in the position as favourites of signing him, will they be asked then, or will they be presented the opportunity then to stand up and offer some money forward to bring him in right now? Well, I actually can't do that. The January window's shut, isn't it? But, you know, that's out the window there. But he isn't going to play much football from now to the end of the season. It would be a case of holding on and waiting until he's at Celtic, till he probably does something. But 7 appearances this season. Let's have a look at the guy in general and a little bit of his career in case you don't know much about him. He has played 311 games of football, which is an experienced player talking about there. 29 goals, 82 assists, including 10 assists in Ligue 1 last season. So if you look at him in Ligue 1 in the season 2020-21, he actually had a very strong season. I believe he was the standout player for Nîmes, and what was a poor season for them overall. You know, they had a really poor season. They did get relegated, but in that, he had 33 games where he managed to contribute to 16 goals in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. Now, I know a lot of people have different opinions about the French league. I know a lot of people have reservations about how good it actually is and a lot of the teams in there. But ultimately, you are looking at a team, you're looking at a league in which it's a very high quality of play. A very high quality of player goes to that league. And you know, it's obviously a division that has earned itself in the top 5 rankings for a reason. So there's a bit more there about his season in 2021. And it could be a player that is of use to Celtic. He's played a lot of his career as well in the right wing position, so he might have use over there. I think primarily right wing position. I think he now plays a little bit more in the middle as he's got a little older. But the Algerian international is someone that Celtic are apparently trying to lure to the club. Now, take everything, as I always say, with a pinch of salt. However, there is rumours there. But that's a fantastic season for a relegated side in one of Europe's top 5 leagues. And you think about that. You think of a player who could potentially be coming from one of Europe's top 5 leagues, to play for Celtic in the Scottish Premiership. Now, we always make this assumption that players like that are going to come into the league and they're going to be fantastic. They're going to take the world by storm. They're going to take the league by storm. And when we've seen the likes of Shane Duffy come in and do the exact opposite. However, I think, judging off how he played for a relegated side in Ligue 1, you're looking at a player with undoubtable quality, and someone who could be of great use to Celtic and brings a little bit of experience into the team as well. You look at a Celtic side right now, which is really young, to bring in someone who has had 10 plus years of being a professional at quite a good level. You're bringing in someone who ultimately could be a good player. So that is the rumours right now that he could be coming to Celtic. But yeah, an interesting point from Jamie as I stop sharing the screen. We've talked about Zinedine Ferhat quite a bit, but Jamie makes a good point. Iranj won't like his attitude. He's been linked for nearly a year, Ryan. A good point about attitude. He has sort of obviously threw his dummy out the pram here with Nîmes. He's said that he doesn't want to play football. He's not playing in League 2. How does that work then as for an Ange Postecoglou player who has put so much priority on the person and as well as the player? We've heard Ange say that so many times. We've heard Ange Postecoglou talk about how it's important that he looks at the person as signing as well, and how they fit into this unit that is Celtic Football Club right now. So it's a very good point to be brought up. But aye, fantastic. That's the news there. Let's get on to talking about the last thing as people get ready to go away and watch Callum McGregor live. I can't compete with Callum McGregor, and plus I quite fancy watching it myself. Let's talk about very quickly Motherwell tomorrow, a big game for Celtic, and we talk about being top of the table. We talk about how important that win was against Rangers midweek. It is almost as important and almost as big that Celtic keep it going tomorrow at Fir Park. A very difficult game. Motherwell have had a very good season, and look, everything could be pointless if we don't go and win that game tomorrow. The fact that, you know, we could ultimately fall back into second place after one game is there. That possibility is real, but I'm confident Celtic can head into that game tomorrow and win. But there is an importance that we don't fall asleep at the wheel, and I want us to maintain this now. I want us to keep this winning run going, but I want us to stay at the top of the table from now to the end of the season. You know, we can win the league by jumping first, second. That's obviously very possible. But I would much rather we'd done it by staying now at top spot from now to the end of the season. What that would do for us as a side, and what that would do for our confidence would be unbelievable. So it's always important tomorrow we head into this game knowing the importance of it, and knowing that, you know, we can't throw away all the good work in progress that has been made over the past few weeks, because it's been crazy the progress we've made as a team. Absolutely tremendous. 3 points and injury free, all we need, says Brady32. Absolutely spot on. Try and get in and out without any injuries. Let's have a look at Motherwell's form as of late. This is the side we're going up against. Of course, the last game, a dramatic last gasp equaliser as they took a point at St Mirren. It was Tierney who scored with the 90th minute goal that got them a draw. But aside of that, in the last 5 games, they haven't had the best of luck. They've only managed, well, to be fair, 5 points for Motherwell, who are a team who are trying to improve and trying to get better from last season, isn't too bad when you look at the run they had. But they're having a tremendous season altogether. I don't think many folk would have pictured Motherwell to be where they are right now. I think they're still 4th on the table. I don't know how that might have changed after today's games, but, you know, they're having a really, really good season. But they are on a little bit of a poor form. 4 games without a win. You know, it would be huge if Celtic could go on and just keep that going for them. Just make sure it goes 5 games without a win. We need to take advantage of it. What is the team that I think will play? Let me know what you think will happen tomorrow in terms of the teams, and let me know what's there. What's this? Ryan118 and John Lennon, the only 2 folk on the planet that can pull off the circle lenses. I absolutely adore that. Daniel, you have made my day. Thank you very much. Let's get up on screen what I think the team will be tomorrow. There you go. There's what I think the side will be. As you'll notice, absolutely no changes from the game against Rangers. Listen, I don't know the intricacies to do with fitness and such right now. We heard, obviously, Ange talking about the fact that Hatate is not even fully fit yet, which means he might take him out the team tomorrow. There's a realistic chance we could maybe see Hatate drop out, and we might see Nir Bitton come back into the team, for example. However, I don't really see him changing too much about the team that beat Rangers on Wednesday night. I really do think it'll be a similar side. The one change that I think could happen is maybe see Jota coming out the team, give him a little bit of a rest for at least the first half of the game, and maybe bring on James Forrest rather than him. But I honestly do believe that this might be the team. O'Reilly might not start. That's right, O'Reilly went off. I've made a howler of it. Thank you very much. Very good point. O'Reilly won't start. This is why I don't like doing these live, because you make mistakes like this sometimes. Very good point. Now I'm going to just take that off screen. That right there is what I think will be the team. Bar O'Reilly. I think that O'Reilly might come out of there, and I think Beaton might come in instead in his place. But I think it'll be as similar to the team that we seen on Wednesday night as possible. Just purely because that they want to, you know, try and carry on the form, make sure they put the importance on winning this game, and just play the team that is on fire at the minute. Because ultimately, the team is on fire. The team is doing incredibly well, and there's no reason to change anything that can win the game. People saying Rogic, Kyle McCluskey, good point. Rogic, could he come back into the starting 11? I do think maybe either Beaton or McCarthy even gets ahead of Rogic this week. It probably makes no sense, right? But I think Rogic might get used as a sub just to ease him back into things. I think he might come on later on in the game rather than start. However, I'm not saying Ange wouldn't start him. I think that if it's an option, he will use that if he can. He could come right back into this team, but I have a feeling just to ease him back in, he might start him on the bench. But you know what? It's not a bad shout at all. Am I rough from last night? Yes, Adam, a little bit. No, I'm actually okay. A bad fit? I hope so. I've got him in my team as well. Need to let's see more of the comments on towards that, but hopefully it's as close as possible to the team that is playing on Wednesday night. The team that I threw up on screen is probably going to be very, very wrong now I think about it, but you know what, I think it'll be as close to the team that played as possible. Could see him resting McGregor, maybe, but he's brought him back, I suppose. Maybe if Kris Boyd gets his way, then who knows. But I think that with McGregor being back now, we'll just kind of use him. There's obviously talk about Julian as well. I think there was talk about him in the press conference. I don't see him starting just yet, but I don't see many changes. If they need to be forced, I think they will obviously make changes, but if he can play as close to the team as he played on Wednesday as possible, I think we'll see as close as possible to that team. But it's going to be a very exciting game, I'd imagine, and I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully Celtic keep on their winning ways. Yeah, my score prediction to sort of end off this segment of the show. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Celtic. I don't know why I doubt clean sheets so much nowadays, because we love a clean sheet now. It feels like we're still in that period of time where you're like, yeah, we win games, but we might give a goal away. That was mostly last season, I suppose, as well, conceding goals left, right and centre. But I don't know why. Why do I ever doubt my boy Joe? He's my favourite player in the world at the moment. I love Joe Hart. Why do I doubt him? Do you know what? Another 3-0. We'll go 3-0 Celtic. We're keeping that clean sheet. I'm going to stop doubting, that we keep clean sheets. It's just to play it safe and to sound nice. But we should really be beating Motherwell, and hopefully we do some predictions on screen. I've got Brady saying Rangers win, us too. Hopefully so, by the way. Let's see some other score predictions. Bailey 2-1 to Celtic, he thinks. A 3-0 as well from Mark. Very confident. Nice to see that. Chilpel don't see us conceding. Hopefully so. Hopefully we keep that right. Adam, I think we could be 7 or 5 points clear by the end of Sunday, to be honest. Wow, big words. Big words from Adam. We'll wait and see. But yeah, I think that about does it. I think that'll do us for today's live stream. They apparently pushed the Callum McGregor stream back to 5:15, just because they know I'm on the air, obviously, so they've pushed it back a little bit. But I'll let you all go, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night. Enjoy your Saturday evenings, whatever you may be doing, whether that's having a drink, whether that's sitting in, or whether it's like me going to see Jackass tonight. Then, yeah. Enjoy yourself, and hopefully I'm on tomorrow after the game as happy as I feel right now. So until then, enjoy your night, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks very much.